Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Kathy, and this week I'm excited to bring on a big DE doc, a great friend of chiropractors everywhere, and one of our golf tournament sponsors, Dr. Steve Judson.
What's up, Kathy? How are you, girl?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome.
I can tell you're in sunny Florida right now. I love it.
Yeah, usually I come on Thursday. Today's Wednesday. I flew in to surprise Jamie. It was her 11th birthday. So surprised her, and tonight's Kane's first high school football game. So I wasn't missing any of that.
No, that's fantastic. God Family Chiropractic. That's the way it works, right?
That's it.
So talk to us a little bit. You've got the practices up in Connecticut. You're getting practices set up in Florida. So what's going on? What do you have in the works?
Yeah, man, it's turning to just like the mission's just getting bigger. We've got 6 practices in Connecticut now. They've just organically happened. And then we're taking over an office there and the doc there. Big DE girls moving down here next week. And our first office in Venice will be open first week of September. So it's exciting.
Nice. I mean, that's right around the corner.
Yeah. Listen, I forgot what it took opening a practice from scratch, man. I mean, it's my wife's at the office now. They just dropped off the tables in the parking lot. The guy says, yeah, I'm not taking them in. Dropped them off in these big wooden bins and walked away. So she had some choice words for him. So I got to head over there in a bit and empty some boxes out.
Yeah, she's not exactly a wallflower. She didn't just sit
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm sure they'll be done by the time I get there. But
right. Tammy will have it done. She'll have them doing everything.
Yeah.
Love it. So listen, I want to talk to you about your hat, and I want to talk to you about the book. So for anyone who's watching and doesn't know, you've written some pretty amazing books. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you. Well, the first one was Wake Up Humans. Second one was Atlas Adjusted, was primarily for students and doctors. Third one's The Backpack, which is just my experience with dealing with patients and people and their emotions. And, patients always asking what else they could do. And it's just, plowing through their emotions, all the shit they've been through their entire life. So it just talks about that. But, Wake Up Humans is a lot of the stuff I've been talking about for years from the platform, my experience with my brother and lack of chiropractic care and what could have been. And, it really got to the point, Kathy, where, you've been there, you speak at all these conferences and we're just talking to each other. And right. I woke up one day and I said, we got to go after the people. I want to go after the people and take this message that we're all fired up over and patting each other over the back for and get it out to the people. And it's been awesome. Now docs all over the country are giving their patients the book and it's educating them. It's like giving an orientation, really. And it, listen, it was a painful experience, but it's helping people. So it's a good deal. And that's what the hat's all about. I figured it's one thing to walk around with, a Coors Light shirt or a Yankees shirt. What am I going to promote them for? I want to talk about chiropractic wherever I go. And nice. People see that and they say, what does that mean? And I start talking about the brainstem and the atlas and subluxation and what it means to the family and what could happen. And they're like, holy cow, I had no idea. So it's a great conversation starter.
I love it. And I like that you took that kind of concept of, it's one thing for us to speak to a bunch of chiropractors in a room, but we're talking the same 4 walls, same people get the same message. Yeah. It's more important to get the message out to the masses. So I greatly appreciate that you're doing this. One of the docs at DE a couple of weeks ago got up and talked about how he had used your books and given them to some patients.
Right.
And, and I'm sure, I know he's not the only one. I know that other people are doing that, but it was a really good testimony to hear somebody say that and say like what an impact it has had on his practice members.
Yeah, it's that's the biggest blessing for me. I mean, I'll get DMs weekly just showing me texts from practice members and how they read the book and now they're all in and it changed their life. And they never knew, one of the biggest words people are saying is chiropractic is misunderstood. And they read the book and they're like, I get it. My family needs to be here. And that's it. They've got a lifetime patient. So it's that's awesome. That makes me feel really good. I've got really low self-esteem, Kathy. So I need some feel-good stuff, and that makes me feel good that people are getting the message. I'll probably never meet these people, but, it helps offices fill up and take care of people. And that's our mission.
And that's so true. Listen, chiropractic, some people say that it's like the greatest gift that nobody knows about. There's all these crazy sayings in chiropractic. And the reality is if everybody knew what we did, they would be filling up our offices. But how do we get more people to know what exactly it is that chiropractors do. Because there was, a 50-year smear campaign that went on, and now we're 30 years into trying to correct that. But we got a long way to go, and every little bit that helps get a positive message about what we actually do, not neck pain, back pain, headaches, but a real message about the nervous system and the brain, the spinal cord, and bodies functioning better and bodies being able to function at full capacity. We get that message out to the public more consistently. What a change we're going to see.
I mean, it's just, I mean, you're 1,000% on par. And is there, I remember years ago when we had, an incident going on up north in Connecticut, and we wanted to put a billboard up, and we couldn't agree on a message. Everyone was fighting over a message, and and that's how I kind of came up with How's Your Atlas? Like, if we could just simplify it and have people I always envision people going to the supermarket and they don't feel well, and the cashier looks at them and says, wow, you look like you're having a tough day. And they say, yeah, I am. And she goes, well, how's your atlas? Go see my chiropractor up the road.
Yeah.
Such a simple concept that if we could brainwash them and get them to understand that and make that part of their jargon, you've got, we'll be part of their healthcare team.
For years, I always spoke about how when I was a kid and you were a kid, we'd go to school, they'd show us how to brush our teeth with a big toothbrush, and they gave us those little red tabs, and we would go home to actually educate our parents, because our parents' generation, they didn't teach about oral hygiene, right? And so there was this massive campaign in the schools in the late 70s and the 80s to educate the kids, so that a whole generation of kids understood brush your teeth, floss, get them checked twice a year. That became so normal to us because dental hygiene was pushed in the schools and kids got to understand that. We've never had that kind of massive impact to be able to bring, I know spinal hygiene, they were trying to do something like that for many, many years. And I know Dr. Oz and some other people were trying to do that. But to get that level of understanding of, if we take better care of our nervous system, we produce better humans, right? And we have a better life experience. To get that message to the masses and have kids understand that, have parents understand that, have grandparents understand that, that's the end goal to me. And I know it is to you as well.
Well, and I think we have to step back and say, why haven't we done that? Like, why haven't we come, spinal hygiene sounds sexy, but that tells a patient they could go roll on a foam roller and they're fine. I don't need to go into your office and get checked. I mean, it's got a nice buzzword, and, whatever, your spine's flexible. That doesn't clear out the atlas. I mean, I think we got to cut through the chase. I've made a poster in my office, and it's disgusting. It's when people do a lateral film in my office, they're staring at rotten teeth. And it says, if your spine was on your face, you would take better care of it. And people go, that is gross. And then when we show them their films, they say, I remember that poster. And I said, they should be x-raying kids probably around the age of 10. I don't know the right age yet, to at least see where they are, and then have them checked, because these kids are walking, especially girls at 13 years old, with massive scoliosis. I'm like, who's your pediatrician? What the heck has he been doing? It's ridiculous. So one of the things we do now is we've given out thousands of Atlas keychains. And all my kids, their house keys, the car keys, they have an Atlas keychain. So wherever they go, people are like, what is that? My kids are talking about Atlas. Everywhere I go, I'm talking about Atlas. Every patient gets an Atlas keychain where, then we give them a Wake Up Humans t-shirt. I'm putting them in a position that they're having conversations that they probably never would have had. So they could sit there, and I show them how to explain what the Atlas is with the brainstem. I explain to them what Wake Up Humans is, but I try to let them discover it on their own, to explain it on their own. And it just creates a movement. I mean, we'll get, 40, 50 referrals a month just off of that.
And those I can imagine those are great referrals, because they're qualified, educated people that already understand what they're coming in for.
Yeah.
If they're reading the book, or someone that read the book is sharing this information with it, people are saying right now, I know you can't see it because you're on a phone, but people are posting right now that they want that poster. They want the poster. So we definitely will connect you with that. But if people are already educated before they come in your office, at least to the point where they understand what they're coming in for,
right?
What an easier job it makes to help them understand, look, this is what we do. This is what we're looking for. This is how we detect and correct the vertebral subluxation. That's what we do right here in this office.
And it's fun. What's fun is we just had a new peak student start up, and I love when they start, because I just have them hang out and follow me around for the first week. And people come in, check in, grab their face paper, lay down, get checked, get adjusted, walk out. And they're like, you're hardly saying anything to them. This is so simple. And I said, because they know why they're here. They know what our purpose is. They've been educated, and that's it. And I have another poster that has it's a person's back with a fuse box, the circuit's going down it. Mm-hmm. And I tell the patient, if your lights go out in your house, you find the circuit breaker that's out of alignment, push it back in place, the power's on, leave it. I said, it's the same thing in your spine, and I point to it. I said, once we click it into position, your power's on. As corny as that sounds, that's my job for the rest of your life. So they get it. Lay on the table. Let's see if any of the circuits are out of alignment. If you're subluxated, adjust it, leave it alone, go home. We'll see you in a couple days or next week.
That's simple.
Simple.
It really is. Yeah. I think we make the mistake of trying to clutter it up with too much stuff. And it's definitely something that I see with a lot of students. A lot of students, they have all this other education that they want to bring to the table. And while they're not confident yet, giving them too much information makes them feel like they did a better job. And that's a hurdle that I know a lot of students have to get over. Like, you don't have to throw the kitchen sink at people. You just have to be confident in what we do.
I think we've all been there. You and I have been doing this over 20 years, and we've probably had every possible conversation that we could have. And I know in the beginning, my day 1, day 2 was long. I was throwing the sink at them. I was telling them about chiropractic, how we change lives. I was bashing the medical profession. I was fired up. And I realized how dumb that was. And I just keep it simple. They're there for their reason. I just got to show them now the bigger picture on how we discover other things that are a mess in their life and how getting clear will change all that. And then it's like the light bulbs go off. They wake up and they're never leaving your office.
Love it. I love it. So I was going to ask you about the inspiration for the book, but you basically made that so clear. You've got an amazing story that you've shared so many times from the platform. And I don't even want to use the word amazing, because it's really not. It's a heartfelt story. It's a very emotional, very personal story, but it's a story that helped you become who you became. Right. And I think that anytime we go through any kind of adversity in our life, any kind of challenges, it's the going through and learning how to live beyond the challenge is what makes us who we are. And I think that's what made you who you are. It's not, nobody would wish that on anyone. Nobody would want you to go through that experience. But I think that's what made you so passionate about what you do and how you serve.
Thank you. And, the whole phrase, as I walk through the valley of death, right? Down in the valley, there's plenty of fruitful things and water and things to live off of. And then you get out and you learn and you see the proverbial daylight. And we've all had something in our life. And I think what we have to do now as the young leaders in the profession, because we are, and anybody leading this, listening to this, is a leader. You don't have to be a DE speaker or a speaker on another place. We all need to be leaders. We all need to be rallying together, because one of the residents, this morning I was cutting wood, and I was thinking about a lot of the older leaders I'm around. And I was thinking about the mission I'm on with the Wake Up Humans and everything. And one of the biggest painful experiences, I'll have guys say, well, I've been doing, I should listen to them because they've been doing this for 50 years. Or I've been doing this for 40 years. Sit back and listen, son. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, but your dumb ass failed. My family didn't learn about chiropractic because your weak ass was billing insurance and you had the easy road. You were billing $200 a visit. You didn't have to earn it. You didn't have to educate. You didn't have to be fired up and wear hats and go out and tell people. You were in the 80s there where they just billed insurance a couple $100 a visit. And our brutal reality is, what can we do different? What can we resonate at a different level? Is to say, I just don't want to sit back and sit in boardrooms and just talk and fight and argue and judge each other. I just want to get together on a solid message. How's your Atlas? What does it mean to live clear? The entire family needs to be under care, and the world needs to know about this. And if that means you hand someone a damn book, you start wearing T-shirts, we put billboards up, we come up with commercials, we come up with money to do Super Bowl Sunday, and we have a message that is flooding society. You watch what happens to this profession. A student's not going to have to struggle and become a rank mixer to pay $300,000 in loans. They'll build a volume practice where people are flooding in their office. We've done it. All our offices are busy on one message.
Right. Oh, you just fired me up. I love it. I love it. You remind me, what I always say is that, you have the discoverer, the developer. Obviously, Dr. Sid was the defender, and I think we are the distributors. This is our time. This is chiropractic's time. We get to distribute this message through the internet, through Facebook and social media. You know, like we have that ability now. You've got your books. We could do billboards now. I agree with you. We've talked about this for years. We need to get all the principled organizations together to fund an ad on the Super Bowl, because that would be that turning point where more Americans that don't know about chiropractic would get the right message. And instead of fighting about what the message is, we need to start banding together to get to that point where we can do this. And that's one of the things that we're doing with the GCC golf tournament. And I tremendously appreciate that you have come. I want to say every year you've come down to play. And this year, not only are you coming to play, but you're also sponsoring.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you guys, I'll tell you right now, between you guys and the FCS have paved the way on what a principled state organization should look like. And I'm not knocking any state organizations, but you've given us a platform to say, do it this way. The CCC, we finally got one of our first lobbyists ever we signed up with last week. And we've been saying for years, the FCS does this, the GCC, they've got people, you know, it's huge, but it takes money. And we finally were able to raise enough money and have a bank account. We have a pretty good bank account now that we never had before. Good. That is full. And now we've got a lobbyist. And within a week and a half, this dude's done more stuff and given us more information. And now we have chances to get on the state boards that weren't really there before.
Right.
And so then I really think that's where, if we could get other states to just, I tell people, call Araceli, call Katrine, talk to Lieberman, talk to Eddie, you know, talk to these guys to say, what can we do better? And we've been doing that. The CCC has grown. We're doing an awesome job. And I'm proud of it. So it's like to then go and be able to fly and hang out with all you guys and support it. You know, that's huge. And I think we need to do that for other organizations. And that's why I'll sponsor it and I'll throw money at it, because money talks and money makes mountains move. And that's what we need.
Well, we tremendously appreciate that. And I will tell you, GCC has always been very honored to have out-of-state members. And so I know that right now there's going to be people watching this or watching the replay that are not necessarily Georgia chiros, but they're a chiropractor in another state, and they appreciate the message and the people that we get to bring on here and share this information from. So that's one of the things that I think GCC prides itself on, is that we do have a lot of support from our out-of-state members, and that's huge to us. That's just that pat on the back saying, hey, you guys are on the right track. You're doing the right thing. Keep going.
You know, so here's the thing to think about, and this is something I'm always thinking about when I tithe to my church. Down here, they have an amazing youth organization. They're big with the athletes. They do a big Thursday night youth group. Hundreds of kids go. They have a huge outreach where the kids go out in the community and they help people. And I know my money's going towards that. When I give money to the GCC or the FCS and I see you guys writing checks to Dr. McCoy and he's doing this research, and I don't know if people know this, but there's 2 studies now on chiropractic getting adjusted in your immune system. And one is through Life University that I just learned about from Jills LaMarche last week at DE. I didn't even know about it. And then McCoy. So we you know, if every chiropractor just turned around and wrote each of them $1,000 and said, here you go. So I know showing up to the FCS and I'm donating money, you guys are doing good things with it. It's not like the board is going out and partying and doing things. You guys go travel on your time to fellowship to learn how to grow on your own dime.
We do.
Right? But now you're taking money and you're writing checks to support things that we need help with. I mean, we came through this whole couple of years with having to watch how we phrase things, which is wrong. So now we got 2 major organizations that are moving forward, proving that we actually increase the integrity of the immune system. We need that. And we could freaking take over society's healthcare with these papers now that, I mean, I got attacked. I had physical therapists from Boston and New York attacking me all over social media. I challenged 2 dudes to a fight. I said, I'll meet you in a parking lot. And I finally called McCoy up and he's like, well, you can't use those words. You can't say this and this. I'm like, why? He's like, I understand it, but we've never had documented research. And I'm like, I got 5 kids that are never sick, so you get adjusted. He's like, I get it. And they're all like, well, that's anecdotal. I'm like, kiss my butt, anecdotal. But now we're getting the research, and we have to get loud about that research. Like me learning from Jill's by accident is my bad. I'm missing something. But now I know. So it's my job to open my mouth and let people know.
Nice. And that's the thing. We've got some great people in our profession doing amazing research. We've got Heidi Havoc doing research. We've got CBP doing incredible research. We've got McCoy doing research. Life's doing the research. There's a lot going on. And I think for many years, the students, they had to do their research project and they would all gripe about it and complain about it. But it was like, don't you understand that's what's helping build the research? When students were compiling patient files from doctors' offices around the country and submitting them, that was helping to compile this research. And we're continuing to make sure that there's research, because while we get it and we understand it and we live this lifestyle and our kids are fortunate enough to grow up in our households and be adjusted since birth,
Yep.
The rest of the world, there's people that want to see, show me the proof, show me the documentation, show me what I need to understand so that I can then take the leap of faith and get under chiropractic care.
And here's what I believe right now. This is another thing I thought about this morning cutting wood, was the bridge between all these organizations and how we can each communicate better and learn. I believe right now is through the ICA. Okay. Now, ICA is not perfect. We're working hard. There's things that people say, but I get it. And we're working hard together. We've got a great board right now that's having different conversations that weren't had before. We've got younger people coming in that are now state reps. There's a group of us that are on the board, and the board is working amazing together now to communicate. It's not perfect. There's things that, there's things about me you could find and bash me about it and talk smack about it, but there's also great things. So I'd rather focus on that, talk to my friends about where I suck and I can improve upon it. And that's what we're trying to do with the ICA, that I figured if we could have now a national, purely international organization, because there's another one out there that's overseas that they want to talk about. We don't need them. We are the International Chiropractic Association. We need to blow that up. We need to help Canada, Spain, Italy, all these guys. And if we could get all these studies out there to them, and the ICA could be doing the marketing and family care and the Atlas care and waking people up, and we could all throw our money in and create a campaign through them, and we could support Life University, Life West, Life Sherman, all these guys through a major organization, which we make major, we make principled, we make pure freaking chiropractic. We make the message that we can all funnel it into. And now we don't have to think, because we're busy in practice, where now I just have to send out an email, a flyer, a public announcement, whatever they call it. And our home office is producing us for that. But if we could go in there as members and say, hey, we want this. We want to be involved. We want to help drive the ship. We don't want to take the ship over, because there's brilliant minds we need in there that are directing traffic. But we need to push in the direction that we really think we need to go. And I think we could all agree on where that is right now.
I agree. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your involvement. And thank you for not only just, stepping up and doing the work, but putting your money where your mouth is, because I know that you have for years gotten involved. You've for years invested your time, your energy, your money, your passion. Yeah. You walk the walk, you talk the talk. And I greatly appreciate that. It's nice to see.
Amen. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people doing that. It's not just me. So
true. There are a lot of good people in our profession doing a lot of great things. And yeah. I just want to say that for everybody out there, if you're looking for an opportunity to get involved, or you're waiting for an opportunity to get involved, don't wait. Go make your own opportunity. Call up your state association, call up GCC, call up CCC, FCS, ICA, whatever it is. Just get involved, because the profession needs fired up people now more than ever.
Amen.
Yeah. So awesome. I know you got business to go take care of. I appreciate you taking the time to come on with us.
My job. Great job, Kathy.
Thank you so much. Listen, there's a crawl going across the bottom of your screen letting you know we've got a big seminar coming up this weekend. We've got continuing ed down in South Georgia. We've got a bunch of continuing ed coming up the rest of the year. Of course, we've got Savannah. We've got our soccer game, and we got the big Chiro Cup coming up September 15th in Canton, Georgia at Bridge Mill. So chirocup.com. Otherwise, check us out at georgiachiropractic.org. We'll see everybody next week. Thank you so much, Dr. Steve.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.